The BBB Part 2? President Trump has already signed the one big beautiful bill, but is another one coming soon? It's in the works. And see you later, Jerry. New York Democrat Congressman Jerry Nadler says he's leaving Congress.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Ghislaine Maxwell, you are the system, and now you are but a part of another system, one that you've earned through your very own choices and actions. A prison system where you deserve to live for every moment of your 20-year sentence. There are others that are complicit, that have caused harm to women and children, have enjoyed impunity and dodged accountability. It's our system now. Let's stop calling it an Epstein client list. And let's call it what it actually is. It's Epstein's sex spire list.
It was only for a couple of days, too, David, and they thought he was dead. We had a president for the past 4 years that never came out in public, and the left didn't have any conspiracy theories about that.
You would see no headlines at all from the New York Times, to David's point, or the Washington Post, or the LA Times, or the myriad number of other publications and media outlets at all about Joe Biden calling lids at 11:30 in the morning and being gone. Trump didn't do a press conference for the first time in his administration. Again, also, presidents not holding a press conference was normal up until about 5 minutes ago. Trump talks to the media every single ding-dong-dang day, still stuffed in a Daily Caller 90-minute interview with Reagan Reese, and then played golf with his granddaughter. All of a sudden, it's call every aluminum foil hat-wearing uncle you know, because we've got a dead president on our hands. It's not just disingenuous, it's malicious. What is the next thing Democrats are all going to unite around? And I have never seen in any of the elections I've been alive for, in any of the prior elections that I've studied, media coverage, open coverage, of what Democrats are possibly going to go through to get to what that core message is. Guys, we are in the midterm campaign. It has started. That's why you're seeing all the retirements and announcements that people aren't going to run for re-election. It's time to get a message 2 months ago. And they have nothing at all to bring to the table. Hakeem is fighting with Schumer, who's fighting with Omar, who's fighting with her husband and definitely not also her brother, who's fighting with the people in Minneapolis, who are fighting with the people in Virginia, who's fighting with anyone they can get their hands on. No one knows what to do in the party. Pete Buttigieg is polling 0% in every black community that is polled in the country. No matter how crazy Jasmine Crockett's accent is getting, it's not going to be enough to unify the old Obama coalition. So what do they have? Screaming at the moon?
I can't think of a single cogent argument, David, to be made against President Trump's plan to send the National Guard to Chicago, whether Pritzker likes it or not. Pritzker is one of the worst governors in this country. He said that Chicago doesn't need the National Guard because apparently crime is down by 50%. And my question is, why isn't it down by 100%, Governor Pritzker?
Trump is probably, and it's a bold move, is going to invoke the Insurrection Act. Because it's broadly written, he may be able to get away with it. Trump went up on Truth and told Xi, quote, please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America.
It's a shot over the bow. Look, guys, I'm trying to work with you, but I don't have to. When that pipeline shuts off or Russia decides to go back to the world prices for oil and natural gas, China's going to get hurt, India's going to get hurt, and so is the American consumer. Russia is playing games right now with the world economy. It'll shoot the price of oil up to $80, $85 a barrel. Pay attention, folks. China's not our friend, Russia's not our friend, and maybe India isn't much of a friend either.
If Israel is going to go in and take over that area, which I'm not necessarily sure is necessarily the best idea for Israel either, then, maybe at some point in the future, you bring in a lot of American companies there and they could build their resorts. But for the U.S. to administer this territory, it's a really bad idea. Plus, the appearance of U.S. colonialism or imperialism, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that perception could be there for a lot of the Arab League or other nations in the Middle East. It's like, why is the U.S. gaining a foothold in the Middle East?
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? Us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
The women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young. The shame does not fall on these brave, courageous women. The shame falls on every single person that coldly turned a blind eye to their abuse, that enabled it, that took money to continue it, on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal. The women behind me have never received justice because Jeffrey Epstein somehow was able to walk among the most rich, powerful people, not only in America, but foreign countries.
If the judicial sabotage continues, you still see these radical Democrat activist judges around the country trying to undermine not only the President of the United States and his Article 2 power, they're undermining the Supreme Court. Justice Gorsuch said, you can disagree with our decisions, but you can't ignore them. You can't disregard them. And that's what these activist judges are doing. Democrat lawyers, Democrat plaintiffs, Democrat witnesses, Democrat judges, Democrat operatives throwing sand in the gears constantly because these Democrats know they're going to lose, but this is about running out the clock.
I would like to express my gratitude for your invitation. Our relations are based, of course, on the values. Right. But thank you very much for your support, for your endorsement during my very hard campaign. I remember it, and I'm very grateful for your support. It was the fight me against others, so your support was very important, and the support of Polish people, Polish diaspora in United States of America. We have almost more than 10 million people here, and they voted for Donald Trump.
They voted for me.
Yeah, and in vast majority they voted also for me, so I would like to say hello to Polish diaspora in United States of America.
How do you know there's no action? Would you say that putting secondary sanctions on India, the largest purchaser outside of China, they're almost equal, would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia. You call that no action? And I haven't done phase 2 yet or phase 3. But when you say there's no action, I think you ought to get yourself a new job, because if you remember 2 weeks ago I said if India buys, India's got big problems, and that's what happened. So don't tell me about that.
Charlie Kirk Show starts now.
Washington, D.C. is a totally safe city. You're not reporting any crime because there is none. They said crime is down 87%, and I said, no, it's not. It's down 100%. We have a great thing going. I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago, or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad. New Orleans, which has a crime problem, we'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C. But we could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us. To go into Chicago if we don't have the support of some of these politicians. But I'll tell you who is supporting us, the people of Chicago. Your top law enforcement officer in Los Angeles said, there's no way we could have done this without President Trump coming in with the troops. We saved Los Angeles and we saved the Olympics.
Mr. President, in regards to Gavin Newsom, would you be open to a congressional investigation in regards to the specific Palisades fire where it killed 12 seniors, to see if there's any negligence on Gavin Newsom or Karen Bass in regards to those deaths?
Well, I'll tell you, there's negligence on not getting people permits. That is negligent. We got all of the federal permits, Lee Zeldin. The federal permits are much more difficult. They were all gotten within 30 days. People could go build their houses. it's going to be years before they are allowed to build the house. And Karen Bass is grossly incompetent. And Newsom, this is a very incompetent guy. I watched him with the hands. I'm saying, what's going on with the hands? There's something wrong with him. Do you watch him? There's something wrong with this guy. I view it as an ideology that's wrong. It's a radical left ideology. Tariffs are vital to the success of this country. When I say I ended 7 wars, at least half of those wars were ended because of the power of tariffs. I was able to say, well, we're not doing any business with you, or if you're going to war, we're putting a big tariff on you. And all of a sudden they announced that the war was settled.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
China hosting a massive military parade where the guest list included notorious anti-Western leaders.
The use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over.
Hegseth added the Pentagon issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft and ordered a third-party audit of the Digital Escort program, which is what allowed engineers based in China to write code for under-trained U.S. supervisors to enter into DoD cloud systems.
Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
Now, Ryan Ruth, the man accused of attempting to assassinate the president last year, is in court right now in Florida. It's his final pretrial hearing before jury selection next week, and he is apparently representing himself today. Ruth is facing 5 federal charges, including attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate and a slew of weapons charges.
The White House releasing this dramatic video of the U.S. blowing up a boat in the Southern Caribbean. President Trump says it was carrying drugs from Venezuela and that the strike killed 11 members of the notorious gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA.
Skid Row is a 50 square block area of downtown Los Angeles that has been given over to drug addicts since the 80s. There's a permanent population of 4,000 to 5,000 people who just live there all the time doing drugs openly. And if you ever drive through downtown LA and you make a wrong turn, you end up in here. It's one of the most, that's happened to me. It's one of the most terrifying situations that'll ever happen to you in LA as a tourist, is taking a wrong turn onto Skid Row. And the thing is, there's mini Skid Rows all over the city. I drive through them all the time. This is not a money issue. They can't pay the rent. This is drugs. And Trump has proved them all wrong with what he's done in D.C.
America's Voice Live starts now.
Breaking news from the University of Massachusetts, Lowell. We do have footage of this suspect. There's an active shooter report there on campus. Lowell PD looking for a 5'5" Asian male wearing a gray or white sweatshirt, a black shorts, carrying a long weapon, seen in the rear of Riverview Suites, that is. UMass Lowell Police, here's the video for you. Looking for this suspect. Do not approach. Do not engage. Just contact 911. UMass Lowell has issued a campus-wide shelter-in-place demand while they investigate the ongoing incident. Please remain indoors, await further instruction.
I really and fully support Secretary Kennedy's decision to revise the COVID-19 vaccine recommendations, and I do so from a position grounded in both scientific scrutiny and public health pragmatism. The director, 3 top scientific directors at the CDC, and approximately 600 staff members have been fired or resigned from the CDC because they are not aligned with Secretary Kennedy, what he promised, and now he's delivering through the MAHA movement to make America healthy again. And I really echo and applaud what Secretary Kennedy and a lot of his colleagues are doing, because they are doing it for the betterment of the American people.
When Joe Biden only appeared once on a Wednesday and once on a Friday, there was weeks he didn't appear anywhere before jetting off to some Delaware beach where he lay there almost a corpse. What happened to Joe Biden's terminal stage 4 cancer? Anything? I don't know. That came up. Remember prostate cancer? I don't know. Any updates? Media? Or is this media just happy to brush the past? The fact that we had a near-dead president holding the nuclear code.